even though women are becoming more and more financially secure, they still feel pretty insecure. And this is based on a survey that was done by insurance company Allianz. And they surveyed 2,000 women, and they found out that even if they're making above $30,000 a year, they feel like they're still at risk of becoming a bag lady. So let me give you guys the exact numbers. So U.S. women afraid they will end up destitute and alone on the streets. Nearly 50% of women making over $30,000 a year said that, and 27% of women making over $200,000 a year.
That's really interesting. First of all, it's interesting because of the use of the word bag lady.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, or are they going to be next to the Chinaman and the trollops? Okay, so that's pretty old school.
Yes.
Okay, but getting beyond that, I find that fascinating. I don't feel that at all. I don't know if it's a man and women thing.
It is.
Is it? Anna?
Yeah, there is a difference between men and women. In fact, 30% of women felt high or overwhelming levels of anxiety about money matters. But when you look at men, it's only 17%.
Maybe that men are needlessly cocky, like they should be more worried.
Absolutely. I'm worried about my own personal finances. Does that make me a woman? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so. But I want to just talk about this bag lady thing, because when I was reading this, does anyone call them bag ladies anymore? I thought it was, but yet homeless people do often have a lot of bags, nothing in them. You know, I just moved from New York City, where I feel like there's always people with like shopping carts with a zillion bags.
Right.
Nothing in them. I have stuff. I don't have that many bags.
If you would like to get your ass kicked, try to take a homeless person's bag away from them.
They love those bags.
Yeah. Oh no. They'll protect those bags. So in some sense, it's an outdated, crazy old term.
Yeah.
That makes some sense.
I need more bags now because you can't get plastic bags in LA anymore, and I'm picking up my dog's poop like you don't want to know what I'm using.
Yeah, well, I love to hoard the plastic bags, and it's
so
hard.
So you love to be a bag lady?
I love to be a bag lady. I have like a plethora of plastic bags in my kitchen, but I use them for a number of things. Like I use them as trash bags, or I don't have a dog right now living with me, but I used to use them for my dog all the time.
So the funny thing is, if you take it and you apply it to men, a bag man sounds like somebody who's murdered someone and is like, oh, you don't want to mess with a bag man, right? But a bag lady's like, oh, she's poor lady,
right?
You know. So
anyway, I like that we're talking about the heart of the matter here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So to go back to that for a second, so why do you think women feel more insecure about the financial situation?
Well, like relatively speaking, and this is just my own hypothesis, there's no real evidence to back it up right now, but I think that relatively speaking, women are new to financial independence. And it's kind of a scary thing because it can be taken, I think women think it could be taken away from them at any moment. So for instance, my role here is pretty much established. I'm the co-host of the show. But I panic about losing my job and being poor all the time.
Really?
Right.
You actually are worried about being a bag lady?
Okay, so I wish the
we know she has enough bags.
I wish the study didn't use bag lady because no, I'm not worried about being a bag lady, but I'm worried that like my success will be somehow taken away from me, and then I'm going to be left alone, and I have to figure it out. Like I don't know why I have that anxiety, but I definitely do. And here's the reason why. I think that younger generations had a mother or a feminine figure in their lives that was dependent financially. I know that I had dependent role models, and I saw what it's like to not have your own money and your own financial success, and I don't want to live like that. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I think that's why I value my financial independence, and the thought of losing it scares the hell out of me.
Let me throw out a controversial question, and I really don't know the answer to this, and I don't know if it's even wrong to ask a question, but is it possible that women genetically are more worried about being alone in the world, given that they carry children and it's harder to take care of children by yourself, you're more vulnerable, so when you think about evolution and how we evolved, that might be an instinct like don't be alone in the world, and that might affect these feelings of insecurity when they've actually achieved independence financially and they're doing better. And young urban single women do better than men in terms of their salaries, right? But yet there's still that insecurity that we are seeing in the macro numbers. Yeah,
that's definitely a possibility. I don't think that's far-fetched.
Yeah, I definitely think that's possible. And yet, at the same time, aren't there a bazillion studies that men die younger than women usually, and then women have this whole second life that usually men don't have. In the rare cases where a couple's been married 40 years and the woman dies first, the husband always dies like 3 days later. Because men can't do anything for ourselves. After you've had a woman taking care of you for all that, what are you going to do? You go into the fridge, you could knock yourself out with the door. But women, you see this consistently. Women, husband dies, she finds a new boyfriend, she gets a new hobby, she goes, one of those clubs. What are those clubs that women have where they all wear like a purple hat or something?
I don't know. I'm not one of those clubs.
You're not in those clubs?
No.
You will be
one day.
But I feel like older women, you see them flourishing all the time. When's the last time you saw an old guy doing something good?